You know it's been in the shop too long when it starts looking like a barn find.
Oh, we're in a barn.
Yeah, I mean, there is that. Welcome back to the Triumph project. When this car was new, obviously it didn't have this engine in it, and it didn't have that alternator either. It had an externally regulated generator. And that externally regulated generator had a regulator. That one's been gutted. And instead of that voltage gauge right there, it had an ammeter. So there's a whole bunch of wiring in this harness that doesn't need to be here. And when we hooked up the alternator, we had it running through all of that. We've been having issues with this thing where we've got good voltage here, but the voltage gauge is reading low. And if you turn on the headlights, the engine dies, and lovely things of that general nature. And I tested it the other night, and from the solenoid to the coil, we were losing about 2.5 volts, which is not ideal on a 12-volt system. So I started poking at this with the meter, and I found that we had about 0.3 volts of loss through the ammeter loop. The ammeter is long since missing, so I have no idea why we were losing current there, but we were. We're losing about 0.8 volts here. We have resistance across there. We were losing about 1 volt at the ignition switch. Dad took that out and it looked like it had been in a fish tank. And one of the contacts looked a little burnt, so we're hoping that's that problem. We were losing about 0.1 of a volt to the coil, but I'm not chasing that because I cannot be arsed. So we've got a patch wire run from there to there. We got these hooked up to terminals that don't have resistance between them. We got a new ignition switch. Let's see if it's any better. Okay, our voltage drop is down to about 0.7 of a volt. Yeah, it looks like most of that half volt we're losing in the ignition switch still. Another thing we discovered while we were troubleshooting the system is that the electric fan sounds terrible. It seems the fan blades have shifted forward into the radiator. So that's not good. Not quite sure what's gone wrong with it, but this fell out. Now we just gotta find the Jesus clip.
Somewhere between here and Okanagan on the highway. Let's just go slowly with a magnet.
Got no idea how long it took to find that on the highway. Let's see you do that again, you bastard. Bring the noise. That sounds more like the noise it's supposed to make.
Plenty of noise, just not the wrong noise.
Yeah. And there we go. We got a bottom brace on the alternator. Because we noticed when this thing was running, this was shaking all over the damn place, even being mounted there and down there. So now now it's mounted in double shear at the bottom. Hopefully that means it shears in 2 places.
Yeah, that's what we hope that means.
Rock solid.
Hey! Look at that!
We have voltage in the cabin again.
Look at that!
Pitch and cool.
Pitch and cool.
Yep. Beauty. When we were looking at the electrical system, we were thinking that the loads were going to be things like the fuel pump and the ignition.
And the fan.
Yeah, and it seems that the wiper motor was a draw. You're not watching this in smell-o-vision, but let me just tell you, this thing smells like it's dead. So near as we can tell, it started to move, and the wipers tried to come home again, and they couldn't for some reason. And this thing just sort of, yeah, you can see where the brushes stopped. It just sort of melted down. That doesn't look great either. All right, it's cleaned up and back together. We're just going to see if it's got any life left in it.
Nope.
Nothing.
Check the fuse.
That's this bottom one here. It looks fine. Well, it's official. Wiper motor's toast. As to why this happened, we have 2 theories. One is that the wiper blade can get stuck under here, and then it can't come up. So if the wiper motor starts to try to move, it gets out of its home position and it wants to go through a whole cycle, and it can't. So it just sits there straining until it burns. The other, yeah, we've got this
Incredibly well-placed positive power lead.
Yeah, you can see there's some room in there now since Dad cut it down here recently, but it is still awful close.
And it was awful closer.
Just for grins, with this disconnected, get it, kick her back on here, and what was half a volt of drop is now 0.3.
Video continues.
Yeah, apparently the clutch goes to the floor and doesn't do anything anymore. That's fun. Is it the cable? Is it the clutch? Do we get to pull the engine again? Write your guess down in the comments, or don't, because you're about to see which one it is. I don't know why people do that. Hey look, a Triumph with its transmission out.
Yay!
Hey look, a Triumph with its transmission about to come back out. Yay!
Yay!
Okay, end of the cable is still on.
Move the speaker and push the pedal.
That's not moving near as much as it ought to do.
No.
Which tells me that the that crinkling noise is probably the cable sheath is split. Well, there's your problem.
It's not supposed to look like that.
No, not at all.
It's just extra air circulation.
Yeah, so it looks like maybe it sat a little close to the exhaust here and it didn't appreciate that. Believe it or not, this is actually very good news. At least that's what we're telling ourselves, because it means we don't have to take the damn transmission out.
Yay!
All we got to do is find a cable and then install the cable and then try to stop the exhaust from eating the new cable. Well, that was quick. And there it is, a new clutch cable installed. Of course, that funny little clip right there that holds it in was on the floor after Dad got most of the interior in, so I just did it from underneath.
Yay!
Yeah, it's possible. I do not recommend it. As you can see, we've got this routed outboard of the exhaust now rather than inboard, so at least it's only got heat on one side, but we're going to need to do some kind of heat shield under there. In a previous part of this video, I covered these interior kick panel, speaker panel, whatever you want to call them, panels. And yeah, the spray glue did not cooperate, or didn't hold up very well, so yeah, I got to do something about that. If you know of a spray glue that actually works, let us know. Make sure you rub your head into the spline grease, yeah.
That was my hope.
It's the best part about knockoff rims is that whenever you have a wheel off, you get grease all over fucking everything. So we got pretty lucky with the shifter in that it just happens to go right through the stock hole, almost. Almost. And so Dad had to do a fair bit of filing on this bit right here, because otherwise it was having trouble in second gear.
Popping out, yeah, it wouldn't stay in when you, because it was binding up against the corner of the frame.
Yeah, because it was all up against the sorting cap you got there.
Yeah, yeah. So it was slithering into second.
Did it scream Slytherin every time it popped out?
No. And now it actually looks like a custom billet-made piece.
Well, it was a billet of something once.
Yeah.
Also, I realized I forgot to shoot a closing to the windshield wiper motor saga. We have one. They work.
Short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah, we also learned far more about these little motors than we wanted to. It's a bizarre design where you've got two power wires and a ground, and one of the power wires is your high speed, and both wires together is the low speed.
Who came up with that? Don't know.
Yeah, I'm still trying to wrap my head around that. We found a brilliant write-up about it which explained everything, and I still don't understand it. But It works, and the wipers go, and you can take my word for it.
And this is with the sorting hat in place.
Hey, it goes into second gear. Yippee. And the engine mounts that we have are basically just this side of solid, so I don't think it's going to knock itself out.
No. I think just the other side of solid.
And that's out of what?
Volvo 122.
We've been chasing overheating on this thing for a while. I suspect it's going to come to putting a larger radiator in it, but we've got this open space, or rather, we had this open space. We filled it in with a piece of cardboard box here. Just as a proof of concept, really, to see if Dad's theory is the air coming in this nice hole that we made here was just shooting out the bottom and not actually going through the radiator. So we've slapped some cardboard in here. If this works, we'll make it out of aluminum to match the rest of the fan shroud. Because we only kind of have the top of a fan shroud on this thing, or not really a fan shroud, but a intake duct here. Look at that, it's staying in second gear without assistance.
We'll have to do this.
And it's charging. And yes, the needle's still orange. Stuff you use to fossilize rotten wood and spray it on the cardboard. Yeah, we're golden. Either that or we just, grab the street sign right here.
You might miss it.
Spirited test drive later, I didn't see it go over half.
I didn't either. 18 miles of not exactly calm driving. I'd say we're on to something.
Well, let's see if it's still there.
Yep, still there.
Hey.
We have a bitchin' idea.
I like it. Where's that spray epoxy? Hey, look. Not cardboard. Okay, we have two pieces here that need to be riveted together. But they can't be riveted together outside of the car because there'll be a right grand old pain to fit into it. So, what did you just say?
Let's deal with that bridge when we get to it if we ever need to take it apart. Rivet it in place.
Because we've never had to take anything apart on this car multiple times.
We have gotten everything right the first time.
Always remember to clamp and fixture everything securely to the drill table when you're doing shit like this. Well, as you can see, it went and got dark on us.
As it always does.
Yeah. But I think that's pretty damn good considering that, yeah, we in no way... Well, we didn't make the fan shroud in this thing. My uncle did, and he didn't really consider putting anything down there. So I think that's gone pretty well, actually. Go ahead and throw that top back on, and we can get inside before we lose 10 pounds to the mosquitoes. So some of the hardcore Triumph guys have been giving Dad shit for his taillights, and he's feeling rather vindicated here because he just found them in a Triumph book here. Yeah, works Triumphs. Those being the ones that actually worked.
It's 4 or 5, maybe 6. But yeah, not an entirely untested idea.
Dad is making a
Custom bracket.
custom bracket here to mount up a little bit of an improvement to this brake system. So this thing currently has single circuit non-boosted brakes. They are discs in the front, non-vented, but they are discs. Soon it's still going to be single circuit, but it's going to have a servo on it.
Right about there.
Yeah, and there isn't really any room to put it over here because we kind of got an oil filter and a clutch dingus and steering in the way, so it's going over there.
Yep.
And what's that out of?
It's a universal, but it's out of MGB.
Cool.
Yeah.
Another little upgrade we got here. That you can't really see because the hood is up, but yeah, those are LED headlights. And if you're wondering, how bright are LED headlights? Apparently brighter than me because I had a hell of a time turning them on, but yeah.
Are you blind?
Yeah, they're pretty damn bright. Should be a little better than the old glowworms and jam jars.
Yeah.
And those were nice and cheap, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're like $180 a side.
Judas Priest.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing they're out at the front of the vehicle where nothing bad can ever happen to them.
Yeah, bargain at half the price. They're never going to get hit by a rock or...
No.
So, I'm thinking it'll probably go about there.
And there we go. Actually mounted up now. It is reasonably solid. We're making a cup holder. And part of making a cup holder is moving the e-brake back. So you can see that's where it used to be. That's where it is now. And Dad, what did you do with the cables to stuff them back a little bit?
So the passenger cable now comes in through the driver's hole, and the driver's cable now comes in through the passenger hole. Takes up about 2 inches of slack. Fits like a glove.
Yeah. Beauteous. Hey, we even welded it in the right way around. Better and better. And suddenly there's a cup holder. And it's,
Stout.
yeah, if this thing takes a nuke strike from orbit, I think this may be the last piece of it that's operable. It actually fits in the boot a lot better. It's almost like the factory thought we were supposed to do this. And then, yeah, as long as we don't put something tall enough that, you know, second gear puts Baja Blast in your crotch, I think it should be golden.
And then the next thing that Elliot thought of was we can have the ejector seat button here and the death ray button there.
Ejector seat, oil
Death ray.
slick, yeah. Or the thing the Speed Racer car did with the saw blades.
Never understood that.
Yeah. So,
We're going to lower the car.
and of course, as soon as I try to shoot something triumphant about how we've got it all put back together, it has an issue. The screw at the back kind of pulled it down and popped it out from under here, but this gives a chance to show off how we did it. You might be noticing this texture on here, which doesn't match that, but doesn't completely not match that. That is truck bed liner. And yeah, there's not a whole lot special in there. Ignore that little plate right there. I totally didn't cut that to the wrong size and have to redo it. No, not at all. Let's just hide that back under here forever. But yeah, that tab just slides underneath of this guy, and then there's one screw through the fiberglass.
But you're right. If we modify this front clip to put a little bend up
flag
to catch on this, that'll solve the problem.
Hole under there somewhere.
Or there will be.
And we got a little carpet scrap to hide the screw. And then a can of Coke to hide the carpet scrap.
Bitchin'.
So here's the cup holder all put together. We're pretty happy with it. We got the two switches on here with the little rubber dinguses on them. It wasn't supposed to look like Mr. Bill, but
It does.
yep. And if we do that, it looks like Mr. Bellany's exasperated. But it holds cups pretty well, right?
It does.
All right, you join me underneath of the car. You might notice we got the exhaust pulled off. You might also notice it's been hitting everything. Because it's run down real awful low here, and the reason for that is that the transmission tail shaft mount was not really working for us. So my dad went out and he got a transmission tail shaft mount for an HO Mustang, which would have been great, except that we're using the tail housing off a Chevy S10. To get around this, we drilled new holes, but they were so close to this weight savings cutout in the middle that they weren't full holes. So we've gone ahead and made a big sort of washer, spreader sort of plate to go on that. Found a couple of nuts for the bottom of this mount, which are metric, M10 by 1.5, incidentally. Luckily, we have an Audi all torn apart, and it happened to have the right nuts. So
Every part of the Buffalo goes into this project.
yeah, get everything from an Audi to a Craftsman snowblower. Well, the good thing about this mount is that it's got this big opening here, which means there's a place for the exhaust pipe to sit. Also, access to these.
Oh my god.
Because the old one stuck out, like, covering half of the bolt heads. We were in there with half of a broke-off bicycle wrench trying to loosen the sons of bitches. But yeah, the upshot of all this is that these will be up there. And so they won't get clattered every time it goes over something, because this is not how much ground clearance it has. You can see how high off the ground the wheels are. That's, they're up a ways. This thing is not a four-wheel drive.
Nope, it drags. It drags.
So, funny story, we got the training mount in. You might notice it's not level. It's flat. The transmission's sitting at a funny angle. There's not really much we can do about that. Well, would you believe the holes don't line up on the mount plate here either. So, I'm going to grab the die grinder, make a couple of penis shapes, and then find some big washers and slap her together. And there we go. Vaguely phallic holes have been cut, and square washers created to cover our crimes, lest someone find us and send us back to middle school. And a bit of screwing around later. Here we have it, one mount. A little cockeyed, but it's rubber, so we're hoping it can just sort of deal with it. And that should hold the transmission just fine and give us room there and there for that and that.
No lower, well, yeah, a little lower.
A lot lower. So yeah, we may have made it worse to make it better. Dad's got to get it to the exhaust shop like this. Or worse, get it onto a trailer to get it to the exhaust shop like this.
No, we won't go on the trailer backwards.
Now you'll have to get it off the trailer backwards.
I know. That's pretty fucking annoying.
Yeah, I think the dogs heard us, you know?
Yeah. To be fair, I was backing it off a trailer with half of an exhaust system on it. And
At the exhaust shop to have the new exhaust shop fabbed.
to put new exhaust on it, and it caught on the trailer. And I said, go get a piece of plywood to put underneath it. I'll pull forward. And I pulled forward, it stalled. And it went back because it's a tilt trailer at 20 degrees. And I was only 6 inches from the end, and by the time I hit the brakes, I heard it break. And luckily, when I broke the entire flange off, I know a guy who used to work at a lumber mill who had to repair a lot of 100-year-old equipment made of cast iron. And he said, oh yeah, I can fix that, no problem. So, $110 later.
A little acetylene, cast iron welding rod.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
All back together.
He says it actually should be strong enough that it'll break somewhere else before it breaks here.
can't drive a V8 swap Triumph with open headers in the snow. Probably most people. They're probably right. How long have you been running this thing with 3 times the original power?
I don't know, what, 2.5 years?
Well, what are you finally getting around to now?
Oh, brakes!
So yeah, the old brakes are coming off and new brakes are going on. We've got the drilled slotted rotors because race car. And we've got these Toyota front calipers with unequal size pistons. First time I've ever seen that. Also pistons on both sides.
Much better than antiquated 1967.
You can see how tiny those little pads are in there. The new pads, I mean, they're not exactly enormous, but that's a little bit more pad than those guys. So, well, what all goes into this modification?
Well, the backing plates, they were too close to allow the new caliper to sit without fouling. So there's a little paper template. You just chop off about an inch on this one and about a half an inch on this one. That's really it. Everything else is just bolt on.
Cool.
The boots on the steering rack are no longer attached.
Yeah, that's a thing.
They need to be upgraded, but you know, every 15 years or so, do a little maintenance.
I'm also laughing at how tiny those spindles are. I mean, I'm used to 90s four-wheel drive stuff.
There's not much there.
I'm pretty sure the axles on our trailer have larger spindles than that. I would also like to point out, we have drilled and slotted rotors, and they're non-vented. That's like having a belt and suspenders with no pants. Well, we got the first side on, and found a few things that the instructions don't happen to mention. So, if you're putting one of these on, apparently this is how the clips go for the brakes. There was no good picture of that. Probably because they assumed that we'd done brakes on a, what, Hilux 2 or whatever it said? So, this line has to come out at this angle. If it comes out straight, it fouls, well, it was kind of in between the coils, but there is some suspension travel on this vehicle, and that didn't seem right. So, at that angle, it's okay. We did pop this out of, we're not sure if it was glued or just stuck or what, but moved it out of its bushing a little bit, which gave us a little bit more to work with. So, yeah, that's on there.
The shields weren't drilled properly.
Oh, yeah. The shields, where these bolts go through, thank you, Roof. The shield where these bolts go through was a little on the small side, and so we had to get in there. Of course, it was already all back together, so we had to get in there with this contraption and open it up a size. But that's all back together. Also, these are grade 8.8, which is metric, but they threaded into the original upright just fine. So, sure, metric head, standard threads, why not? It's a 3/4, so it's probably a 19 millimeter, probably with English threads on the end. So, who knows, but it's back together. These take 60 pound-feet, I believe. Yep, 60 pound-feet. So, yeah, that's back together. Make sure you get your bleeders at the top.
And had they mentioned that the shields needed to be drilled,
it would have been a lot easier.
Because they also had to be cut to fix the new calipers, so they were off the car.
And it would have been so much easier to drill and deburr, but no, we had to use this. But on the plus side, it did all line up, and yeah, looks like hot boy race car brakes now.
There's one last thing to check. Does the rim go over it, or does it foul?
Splaned rims, wonderful idea, I'm sure.
Yeah. Plenty of room.
Hey,
Lots of room.
look at all that room. And the driver's side is done. A lot easier when you've already done one. Yeah, there it is, all back together.
Yay!
Only other tip I can give at this point is that there is that nut right there that holds the backing plate. Leave that loose until you've got this at least started, because otherwise the backing plate will be in the wrong place and the caliper bolts go through the backing plate and you will never get the son of a bitch lined up. And in case anyone gives a crap, the thread is 7/16 20. So now we have a 7/16 20 thread with a 19mm head in metric grade 8.8. The things we do to put Toyota parts on an old Triumph. And Toyota truck parts at that.
Toyota truck parts at that. You know it's stout. It's
Yeah.
not a truck.
Well, didn't Toyota have a stout?
Yes.
There we go. Suddenly plumbing. The suddenly in there is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
Yeah.
So we've got a new NICOP line run from the master. By the way, whoever decided that that fitting should be sunk that far down,
And that close to this one?
I'm not quite sure what they were smoking. Really tough to get to. Anyway, got that line run. Learned why lines are usually run when the engine isn't in. Run around to here, goes in there. The line that came with the kit, for some reason it only came with the one. Luckily I had some line laying around. Ran this back all the way down there to the splitter, which is way down underneath the engine. So yeah, it's a little awkward having it all the way over here, but there wasn't really a place to put it there unless, I guess, we relocated the oil filter relocation to behind the headlight or something. Anyway, that's all in. It turns out the flares on this thing are bubble, not the usual invert flare. I always figured that bubble was just the first step before you make invert, but those end up being flat-faced and these were round-faced, so I just didn't do it all the way. And it looked about right, so
See how it works.
yeah, we'll see if it hemorrhages brake fluid all over the nice paint. Speaking of the nice paint, we've added a tab here to hold the lines. Turns out, yeah, Bondo doesn't like having riv nuts sunk into it. Things we know now.
When you say Bondo, there was a skim layer because we cut the battery panel out and tried to make it look better.
There was a skim layer, and there is now a
Skimmed layer.
a Captain Crunch layer. But yeah, should do. We got vacuum coming off the manifold. The instructions suggested having this line routed down in a U-bend sort of things. They called it a petrol trap. I guess they were assuming that if any gasoline got up into it, that would stop it getting in here. That was how we routed it anyway, so that worked. They also showed a one-way check valve in line here, but this is a one-way check valve, so...
Why you have two?
Yeah, and the kit didn't come with two. So, I mean, it did, but there was just one you could stick in here that was straight and one that was 90, so... Well, I don't know quite where I should point the camera for this one because there's not much to see, but we bled the brakes, and they appear to be doing brake things. I can't turn them by hand.
And it's not dripping.
Yeah.
So it's very un-British of it.
Yeah, even the lines that I flared with the wrong tool seem to be holding.
Yeah.
I had to cinch up a couple lines that had the correct flares, but my flares worked the first time, damn it.
Yeah, and now we have metric and standard in
Yeah.
the same brake system.
Yeah, so that's an original fitting that I reused. So that one's 3/8, that one's 10mm. The bleeders are 10mm. We got the funky metric and standard bolts in here. So, you know, you always wanted a 1990s Chevy, right?
Yeah, used to have one. Didn't want to have another one.
Incidentally, if you're ever wondering how to make a welder feel self-conscious, chrome their booger welds without doing any prep on them. Yep. It's a good thing that's underneath. Looks great from here, though. Well, we realized we weren't going to get it to the exhaust shop this year, so a little tough to drive it there right now. So we went ahead and just did a little bit of cutting on the pipes that were on it. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. It's no longer the lowest point on the car. You always want to make sure that your welding was just the, barest hint of a gap just for penetration purposes. There we go. See? Professional looking welds. At least professional looking for an exhaust shop.
Better than what was on there.
Yeah. And the good news is it's all going under the car. So as long as it holds the exhaust gas in, we're golden.
And we're not chroming these pigeon shit welds.
Naturally, we only thought we were done with this transmission mount. Turns out these tabs are sticking out just a little too far, and cutting those off will mean that the two sides are not really connected anymore. So we've got this piece that we slid into her here, and I'm just going to weld that and then cut those off, and that way it should stay together just a little bit better. And there we go. If you didn't know better, you still probably wouldn't think it was stock, but it'll work, goddammit.
Stock? There's nothing stock about this car.
And the best thing is, that ought to clear the pipes.
This will clear the exhaust.
Well, I'm no exhaust expert, but I'm just going to go out on a limb and say this might have been where some of the scraping noise was coming from.
This is not my favorite position. We've just been talking about the investment in a two-post lift, but we don't have one yet. So
Yeah, we don't have one, so we've just been getting up and getting down, and Dad's back is screwed, and I've got a cracked rib, so it's just been all kinds of fun.
yeah,
I haven't been recording the horny elk noises this time.
but when we started the day, the exhaust was fully below the frame
Yeah.
and below the transmission mount. And we've modified the tranny mount so that it slides above it without fouling. And we've modified all of these pipes with some really ingenious and ugly welds. But now they're all fully flush and not the lowest part on the car.
Yeah, so if you pull back a little bit here, you can see a tiny bit of exhaust right by Dad's hand, but that's about it. And the bell housing still hangs down lower than all of that.
And so does the pan.
Yeah.
So we're good for, we're not going to drag on curbs anymore. I rerouted the clutch cable so it isn't up against the exhaust.
Uh-huh.
So we've got some room. I'm going to put a little clamping bucket on it and maybe a heat shield. And I won't be burning up clutch cables anymore.
Better and better.
All right, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm in pain, but I'm happy.
Yeah, the trick now is going to be seeing if either one of us can get up.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
Just weld it up, he says.
Yeah, fill the gaps, he says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Well, there we go. There's a hole. 2 holes. Smoke machines for exhaust work. Who would have guessed? There we go. No more leaks.
Yay.
Also, the more I look at the exhaust shop welds, the better I feel about mine. I don't know, I think we might need to do those valve stem seals.
Do the recoil lay into it.
You know what? In the dark with a coat of paint on it. Oh, no, wait, the flash is on. Yeah, in the dark with a coat of paint on it, with the flash off, that looks pretty good. Wait.
Wait.
Now, we've heard that there are people who let things, cool after welding and let the paint cure before putting them back. No, we're not those people.
No, we're not those people. It's up there, damn it. I have burnt calluses on my fingers for a reason. And this is the first time since those exhausts were on that they were level.
Yeah, look at that. The mufflers are flat. I'm remembering this thing getting stuck on the trailer.
Yeah.
When your brother was trying to get it off, and now that is all tucked up in there real nice.
Yep. Just like it was supposed to be. For the amount I paid for it to be done.
Yeah.
Oh well, it's on.
Look at all that ground clearance. I mean, yeah, it's on ramps, but look at all that ground clearance.
It's just about flush with the frame now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, they hang down, but they don't hang down any lower than the shackles on the leaves.
Yeah.
No, it's a thing of beauty.
Joy to behold. So after all the attention on the front brakes, we decided we ought to, maybe do something about the rears. And yeah, I think we might have a seal starting to go out back here. Just, call it a hunch. And these seals are made out of, what was it?
Leather?
Leather. Yeah. So apparently the leather seal has realized that the cow it came from died a very long time ago. And yeah, so we need to figure out how to get this apart. It's not a C-clip axle. There's some kind of there's a key and some kind of taper, and this should be fun. If you're watching this at home and noticing that the wheel studs are moving, that's because these are just bolts somebody stuck in here. This one's a wheel stud. The other four are just bolts. Yeah. 3. Right out. Wheel stud. See what 12 tons does about this. I'm just gonna say that's not gone well. Shit. No, we didn't fix that axle shaft. My dad happens to know a guy who happened to have one, and so we put it all back together. I can't tell you how you'd get that thing apart because we didn't. We just hoped that the piece of leather in that one is better than the piece of leather that we had. We can see here that the rear axle still has oil in it. That's good to know. Glad we checked that. Hey.
Pretty brittle.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Looks like it's been there 20 years. Well, the fun continues. We noticed that the rack boot was torn and figured we'd throw a tie rod end at it at the same time. Got it all apart, and yeah, you might notice a small problem here.
It's called nobody sells the right fucking part anymore.
And there we go, brand new silicone boots. As you can see, these are kind of adjustable, choose your own adventure. You just have to cut off to the level that you need. We found out on the inside that if you cut off the wrong one, you'll have a right pain in the ass getting it back on. But anyway, we've got them on now. Got the tie rod ends on. And now just comes the highly delicate procedure of hammering the wheels back on. Oh yes, all that ground clearance.
But look what's not there anymore.
Yeah.
The exhaust pipes.
From here you can't even see that it has an exhaust.
Yeah, it's all tucked in where it should be.
Beauteous.
Yeah.
Well, it's the 4th of July. We haven't run this thing once this year. It has exhaust. We think it has brakes. Might be good to just make sure it still has brakes. Your hood's open, by the way.
It's okay. It's got power. Load up the fuel after what, 6 months?
Wait a minute.
Sort of has fuel.
Well, hopefully those weren't important. Brakes seem to be working.
That time. Yeah, that time.
I don't know if it's ever locked up a wheel before.
No. More brakes than I'm used to. It does on the pavement. than the other.
which is weird. Of course, they're not bedded yet.
Stop's fine.
Yeah, brakes feel good.
Funny noise.
Good squeaky squeaky. That's new.
Where's the vacuum hose?
That's this guy. That goes around to this guy.
Why don't you pull that off at the...
This is working.
Yeah.
Fuck awesome. I knew that it wasn't the booster that was making the noise.
This could be like the beginning of the rally. We're getting ready to get in.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is the brakes are working.
Yeah.
And the even better news is the dad figured out why they were squeaking.
They're poorly made. They probably fit a Toyota truck, but they were a little less than an 1/8 inch too wide for the inside of the brake shoes. So they were trying to create a new groove around the inside of the brake drum. So.
Yeah, and the rears aren't off a Toyota truck, so they don't have an excuse.
No, but a flap wheel and a grinder did a pretty good job of taking care of that without taking the brakes apart.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
That'll do it.
So Dad was also noticing that this thing was sort of rev hanging, which is weird because, yeah, it shouldn't be doing that. Well,
We found it.
yeah, I think that might be what's making it hang up.
Yep. Too short.
Yeah. Well, we were just on a roll today. We were trying to figure out why this thing was randomly honking. Yeah, that might have something to do with it. On closer inspection, we had two problems. There was the broken wire, and there's a little scuff down here that kind of looked like the back of the wheel was touching the horn ring. We had a look at the back of the wheel here, and yeah, you can see some highly questionable machine work, and that's after Dad cleaned it up. So yeah, that might also explain it. But we popped out the little cartridge dingus here, soldered a new wire to it. Cartridge for the contact. So slap it back on, see if it works. All right, well, let's see here.
Don't hear anything else.
Nice. I also like to show off my dad's craftsmanship. It's interesting.
It works.
It certainly does.
Gets a little better. Might even stay.
It's a little wonky, but that's in there pretty good. Sweet. Well, we have to turn it back and forth, see if it still honks.
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet.
See if it honks when he turns it around. Wheel spin. More wheel spin. But no honking. Sweet. Brake work continues. You can see the clearance thing on here. That solved one noise. There's still a funny noise that we're pretty sure is the parking brake. If we look back here, this is the arm for the parking brake, and you can see this spring is not really returning that because there's just too much room for it. I'm not sure if the cable has stretched or what's gone on. There was what was left of a little rubber accordion thingy on here. It's down there now. We suspect it went over the ends of this and made it longer. Anyway, we have a piece of one of the sprinklers from the yard as a warning to the other sprinklers in the yard. And yeah, we're just gonna jam it in there and see if that makes the squeaky squeaky go away. Because
Proof of concept.
yeah, well, lawn sprinklers don't squeak.
No.
And there we go. A little tension on the spring should push the arm back. Got a zip tie on here. Even clip the end of it so that nobody thinks that we're hacks. Now let's reinstall the wheel with a hammer and see if that made the squeaky squeaky noise go away. We're trying to find the one noise amid all of the other noises.
Yeah. A little chirpity chirp is much noise.
That little cricket noise.
Yeah, I need to adjust the cable a little looser. It's just barely dragging the throat there. Not enough to hurt it, just enough to annoy me. So yeah, it still makes the chirp when you decelerate too. No brake noise.
That's good.
Well, that's 130% of power.
Well, it won't be some rainbird sprinkler.
Yeah. So now we've got Craftsman
Snowblower
snowblower
and rainbird sprinkler parts.
Yeah.
Fixed.
Fixed.
Well, Dad had to take some brave pills and get on the drill press here, but he's gone ahead and added a yet another way of putting oil in this thing. Also a breather cap. And yeah, fortunately it clears the roller rockers.
Just barely.
Just barely. But I don't know how well it picked up on video, but we were having a weird issue with this thing where it was making sort of a little chirping parakeet noise, or I guess because it's a British car, we ought to call it a budgie noise.
Yeah, a budgie.
Yeah, it sounded like there was a budgie trapped in here somewhere. And after that, and also tightening up some exhaust bolts, that noise went away.
The budgie is dead.
Yeah.
Beautiful plumage, but dead.
Yeah, we have a dead budgie for sale. It's not going cheap.
But I am thinking that black instead of chrome.
Yeah, or at least brushed.
Or at least brushed. But that's what I had laying in the shop.
But yeah, not only did that kill the budgie, the engine is running more smoothly.
It doesn't sit here doing this.
Yeah. So my best guess is that with no way for air to enter the crankcase, because this thing does have crankcase ventilation set up on it. So with no way for air to enter the crankcase, it was vacuuming down the crankcase and pulling air past the seals. And it wasn't pulling air past the seals consistently, and so it was idling up and down as the mixture changed.
So now we've got a PCV on this side, and we've got the vent tube on this side.
We got the intake and the line to the carby. So yeah, well, it should also make the oil last longer and the engine sludge less. So
well, okay.
Yep, showing off those high production values that you've learned to expect from this channel. Filming with an iPhone in the dark. Well, folks, I think this is quite enough video for one installment. There's probably 2 years of footage here. And yeah, I think this thing's pretty much buttoned up. We've just, we got to paint that one needle white still. But other than that, it goes, it starts, it stops. And yeah, you would think that we would be done.
But oh wait!
Yeah, oh wait. Engine's coming out. Details later. Oh boy. Car projects are never actually over. The real Christmas miracle is how Dad's going to get back out of this prison he's constructed for himself here.
Without touching it?
Yeah, without knocking it over.